This is the Adoption is Love podcast. Real people sharing real adoption stories and the real power of choosing love.
Growing up in a white family and not really knowing how to adjust or just fit in to my own race was a little bit challenging. But thanks to our upbringing in sports and athletics, I was already merged in with a lot of people that looked like me and made friendships early with them.
Today, Tabry gets real on growing up adopted, from realizing he was different to embracing it, to finding pride in his story. It's honest, thoughtful, and full of heart. He's joined by adoption expert Catherine Cheek from Deaconess Pregnancy and Adoption.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm Tabry Shetron. I'm 22 years old. I was adopted at 6 months by the Shetrons, born and raised in Oklahoma. Went to Edmond, Santa Fe for high school, and then I played football up at Oklahoma State for about 3 years and graduated with a degree in marketing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When did you first learn that you were adopted?
It's a funny question. Yeah, I always had an idea. I would look at my parents' skin tone and then I would look at mine. But it really sat in around, I guess, teenage age that I was a little bit different than my fellow peers. Whenever I would see their parents compared to mine, theirs would look similar to them because that's how natural biology works. But that doesn't change the fact that their parents are any closer than mine are. Like I said, I was adopted at a young age. So to me, my adoptive mother is no different than my birth mother. She raised me no different than any other mom would have. And the same thing with my dad.
So for those in the audience, your skin tone is a lot darker than your parents. Is that what you would say?
Yes.
And so from an early age, you noticed that difference, but didn't quite put it together.
Yes.
What that meant. Okay. Did your parents sit down and have a conversation with you all at once, or was it little conversations along the way about your adoption?
Yeah, I would say it was little conversations along the way, enforced by them, sometimes enforced by myself and my other two brothers. I'll give a little context on that. I have two other brothers, one 6 months younger than me, and another one that's 8 years younger than I am.
Okay. And they are both adopted as well,
yes,
correct?
Yes, and they are both adopted. Same skin tone as me.
Okay. So you guys could share your adoption stories and ask questions as you grew together.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. So you talked a little bit about feeling different than your peers. Was that something you embraced or something that maybe you struggled with?
For me personally, I embraced it. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit different than everyone else. Honestly, it's something that you should embrace to be different. When growing up, like I said, whenever I would see other people's parents looking the same as them, it really didn't affect me that much. Like I said, I just grew up in a nice household, no different than theirs. I was just adopted.
How did your parents talk about your birth family? Did they ever talk about them?
Briefly, a little bit. The whole process was kind of a little rough at first, just on learning the information about them.
Sure.
But yeah, I have a little bit of knowledge of my birth mother and birth family. They would bring it up every once in a while. I would ask every once in a while. Not much came to mind with me whenever it would come to the knowledge of meeting them or just knowing much about them. Because like I said, I'm going to keep on repeating this over and over again. The family that I was adopted into is my family. And I know that this varies from person to person, but for me, I just always viewed my adopted family as no different than my biological family. They brought them a few times, and we had great conversation, and they always answered my questions to the best of their ability.
So they were open with those conversations, and you felt safe to ask them those questions as you grew.
Yes, 100%.
Were there any challenges you faced because you were adopted?
Yeah, I would say the race barrier and the cross-culture aspect of it was a little bit challenging, but that's expected. And the challenge that myself, my brothers, and my parents both approached and dealt with it in the most appropriate way. For example, having trouble, for me personally, merging in with the Black community sometimes, because growing up in a white family and not really knowing how to adjust or just fit in to my own race was a little bit challenging. But thanks to our upbringing in sports and athletics, I was already merged in with a lot of people that looked like me and made friendships early with them. So it wasn't that big of an issue at all and hasn't been. A little bit of a conflict there, but nothing too big.
How do you feel about your birth mother choosing adoption for you?
I'm appreciative of her. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of heart to give up your baby to an adoption agency, and I understand that. Yeah, a lot of feelings of courage for her, and I understand that it's a really hard process to go through. I've heard multiple stories about how hard it is for birth mothers to put up their baby for adoption, but God willing, if you're able to do that, it's never going to be a bad choice, especially with Deaconess and great adoption agencies out there that will take care of your baby and make sure that they're safe and have the right upbringing.
In talking about the decision your birth mom made, what do you appreciate most about that she chose your family to place you there?
Yes, throughout my early process, to my knowledge, she knew that there was a chance that my other brother would be adopted with me. I was adopted on April 15th, 2004, and he was born April 22nd, 2004. So within a week, I only got 1 week of being an only child, and I didn't have the knowledge to enjoy it at the time, but, I should have. And she knew that there was a chance that I would be adopted with another Black boy and just a built-in best friend. So I'm very appreciative she chose the Shetron family and the strategy behind it.
Tabry, how did your family celebrate adoption as you grew?
Yeah, so it's pretty unique for me. I was born on October 8th, and I was adopted on April 15th. So it's a 6-month period. We would celebrate something called a Gotcha Day. It's essentially acknowledging that today is the day that you were adopted, and that's really important to the kid that was adopted and to the family. It's like having 2 birthdays, and I would always celebrate it, and whether that was going out to a nice restaurant of my choice or a simple gift or something to acknowledge that, and it was always a great time. And the plus side was always thinking that I get 2 birthdays, and I would know that halfway through April that I was having another birthday coming up.
That's pretty special. 2 presents in a year.
And it was kind of funny, too, that it would happen before my brother's birthday. And so he would always be jealous of like, why is Tabry getting this? Why is Tabry getting that? But like just a week before my birthday and stuff like that. But it was all in good fun.
That's great. So I have to know, how was it being on the same college football team as your brother?
It was a great experience. Like I said before, having a built-in best friend is a privilege that not many people get. So I am extremely grateful for that. And our whole life, we grew up playing with each other, whether that was baseball, football, basketball, you name it, we were doing it together. And it was great. Like I said many times before, a built-in best friend. Whenever we were both offered to Oklahoma State, going up there together, that built-in best friend just went that much further. We decided to go up there early. We were the youngest people on campus, especially on the team. And for us to be together throughout that whole entire process made it that much easier.
That's really great. So just lastly, were there any funny stories that you experienced with your family that was tied to adoption?
I don't know about funny stories, but I'll just tell you about experiences we have all the time. Just whenever we're in public, in the Walmart, we're walking to the checkout line and they'll see me and be like, oh my gosh. And they'll say, I bet your dad is like super tall, or like, was your dad an athlete? And then I just like point behind me to the little old white guy back there and say, well, you tell me. And then we always have a good laugh after that.
Oh, that's really good.
It's great.
What do you think makes adoption a unique way to make a family?
Well, it's completely unique. It takes away the traditional part about it, merging in people that aren't of your blood, not of your race. It's simply a beautiful thing to see the diversity in families.
If you could speak directly to a mom who's in an unplanned pregnancy, what do you think you would share with her from just growing up adopted?
I would tell her not to feel ashamed of thinking or even considering adoption. The knowledge about adoption or what it's shown like in media is that it's a terrible thing or it's a scary, sad thing in the orphanage and stuff like that. But that's just simply not true. You're simply giving your child a chance, regardless of who their family is. It's just a beautiful thing. Don't listen to the outside noise like you're a bad person or you're evil for even considering putting your child into an adoption agency. It's a beautiful thing. You're giving them a chance. And another thing on the back end of it is that there's a lot of families out there that are looking to adopt children and that want to bring them into a warm, loving home. So don't feel ashamed whatsoever for even considering adoption.
That's great advice. Thank you, Tabry, so much. I wish you the best in your endeavors, as graduation is a big, big milestone. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Thanks for listening to the Adoption is Love podcast, brought to you by Deaconess Pregnancy and Adoption. If you're curious about open adoption or just need someone to talk to, an adoption specialist is available at adoption.is.love.